you ever caught yourself thinking, I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing, so why isn't anything moving? You're posting consistently, you're learning, you're showing up, and yet growth feels stalled. You're not doing it wrong. And today we're going to talk about why doing all the right things still isn't producing growth and what actually matters now.
Welcome to today's training. You're doing all the right things, so why aren't you growing? Yeah, that is the question of the day. If you've been blogging for a while, that can be one of the most frustrating places to be, where you're not growing, but you're doing all the work. You're not brand new. You've not ignored your blog. You're not lazy. You're a dinosaur. Kelly mentioned that in a previous video. You're a dinosaur blogger. You're doing what you've been told works. You're publishing content. You're learning strategies. You're trying to stay consistent, but the results don't match the effort right now in 2026. That doesn't mean that you're failing. It means the rules of growth have changed. And most bloggers were never taught how to recognize when it's time to shift.
Yeah, so today we're going to break down why effort no longer guarantees growth, what's actually holding you back, and how to move forward without piling more onto your already full plate.
So here's what you're going to learn today. Why doing all the right things can still lead to stalled growth. Okay. Number 2, the difference between activity and impact. Number 3, what's actually changed and how blogs are growing today, right now in 2026. Number 4, why more information is rarely the answer. And number 5, how clarity, feedback, and support replace endless guessing.
Yeah, so what are you going to walk away with? You're going to walk away with relief, knowing that this plateau is normal. You are not alone here. You're going to walk away with clear language for why growth feels stuck. You're going to walk away with a smarter way to evaluate what you're working on. And finally, a simple next step instead of another long to-do list. So let's dig in. But before we do, I want you to text the word shift to 251-644-6701 to get your free printable.
All right, so let's dive right into this training. The number one reason you're doing everything right but not growing is because the mistake that you're making is confusing activity with progress. I've said it for years. Busy doesn't mean productive. Most bloggers believe if I keep posting, if I keep learning, if I keep trying new strategies, growth is going to eventually catch up. But effort alone doesn't create the momentum anymore. What worked in 2020 is not going to work in 2026. Can you believe that? Like 2020 feels like the other day. But in blogging years, it might as well have been 2 decades ago. You're not stuck because you're inactive. You're stuck because you're busy in too many directions at one time. Okay.
So why is this so common? Well, 3 years ago, 6 years ago, crazy. Doing the right things often was enough. Back then, publishing consistently worked. Trying multiple strategies didn't hurt. Learning more always felt productive. And platforms rewarded volume and experimentation. Today, that same behavior creates friction instead of growth. It creates overwhelm instead of growth.
So here's why this belief is so hurtful. When you assume effort equals progress, you keep adding instead of refining. That's a big one.
Right?
You keep chasing strategies instead of results. You mistake learning for movement, and you stay exhausted while telling yourself to just push through it because you're almost there and it's finally going to work and this is all going to work out. The truth is, growth stalls when your focus disappears.
Yes. So, for example, 3 years ago, you could publish a post, create a few pins, promote it lightly, and see traction. But now that same effort competes with established brands, full teams, AI generated content, no click search results, creators posting everywhere at once, short form, instant gratification content, pulling everyone's attention away. So even when you're doing the right things, they're not the right things for right now. And that's where the disconnect happens.
I think that my phrase of the year is going to be growth stalls when focus disappears. That is so powerful. I said it a minute ago before you said all that, and it's so true. So here's your key takeaway. You're not failing because you aren't working hard enough. You're stuck because growth now requires precision, not necessarily more effort. Okay.
Yes. Growth requires precision.
About.
That's great. So,
Mhm.
what actually changed? The real reasons here. Number one, good enough is not enough anymore. There's more content than ever. So, standing out now requires clear positioning, intentional focus, and knowing why something matters. Not just doing what everyone else is doing. I mean, to be fair, that's never been the right thing. But
Mhm.
now more than ever, it's not the right thing. Good
It
enough
is.
isn't enough anymore.
Mhm. Yep. Platforms reward direction and not hustle. Google, Pinterest, email. We've talked about this before. They're going to reward clarity, authority, consistency with purpose and intention. They're going to reward engagement and not volume. Hell, Facebook. Everybody's moving towards that. That is part of the algorithm now. Okay. Like we talked about last week, more posts does not equal growth anymore. If you missed that video, we will stick that up here so that you can watch it right here.
Number three, strategy gaps hurt more than skill gaps. Most bloggers don't need more courses, more tactics, more ideas. They need help answering what should I work on next? What should I personally work on next for my business goals? What
Mhm.
actually matters for my business and my goals right now? What am my resources on? What should I stop doing right now?
Mhm. Growth is harder when you're doing it alone. And that is the next thing that we really need to talk about. It's the elephant in the room. When you're building in isolation, every decision feels heavy. Everything slows down because you like everything that gets in your way it starts to feel very personal. Every plateau feels like you're failing. All of those things. And then it creates this mental load that slows down your progress more than the algorithm ever could,
Mm,
more than like you've started to make this progress, but you're self sabotaging in some ways. Okay. Think about that.
right? It's like I really wanted to lose 6 pounds this month, but I only lost 5. So I'm going to spiral and eat some Reese cups,
And it happens.
right? I didn't get as
Hmm.
much traffic as I thought I would get. So I'm just not going to send as many emails,
Hmm. Yep.
right? The shift that unlocks growth again, the solution from doing everything to doing the right thing. The bloggers who start growing again are not working longer hours. They're not posting more content. They're not chasing every platform. They are narrowing their focus. They are getting outside perspective, making faster, clearer decisions, and adjusting based on real feedback. They stop trying to do everything right and start doing what matters most right this moment.
Yep. So, what this looks like in practice, instead of asking, what else should I be doing? The person asks, what is the highest impact thing that I can do right now? Instead of Googling, is this normal? They hear, yes, here's how to handle it. Instead of guessing, they get clarity. And that's really important.
So, what is your key takeaway here? Growth doesn't come from doing more things right, it comes from doing fewer things with intention. So, your
Mhm.
final micro habit challenge is to trade effort for evidence. This week, do this once. Pick one daily task that you've been
Okay.
consistently doing for your blog for at least 30 days. Let me repeat that because I want you to hear that most important aspect of this statement. Pick one daily task that you have been
Mhm.
consistently doing for your blog for at least 30 days, something you've done every single day for 30 days. And I want you to ask, what evidence do I have that this is working?
Yeah.
If you can't clearly answer that, don't add more effort.
Hmm.
Decide one of three paths. Do you need to double down? Are you
Hmm.
not doing enough of that one thing every single day for 30 days? Do you need to adjust it? Or do you need to stop that? Is that just not going to cut it at all? Your goal is not to do more, it's to stop investing energy without feedback.
You can do all the right things and still feel stuck because growth today isn't about effort. It is about alignment. I want you to really think about the word alignment this year, all throughout 2026, but especially as we get going in this year. If you're tired, if you are unsure, if you're wondering why things aren't clicking, You're not behind. You're simply at the stage where clarity, feedback, and community matter more than tactics. That's where we're at in this industry. Don't forget to text the word shift to 251 644 6701, and we're going to send you a free printable. If you text that word and you don't get your free printable, that means that you've probably D&D'd us. That's okay. We can fix it. You can fix it. If that happens, text the word start to 251 644 6701. Wait about 10 seconds and then text the word shift and only the word shift, and you should get it. All right. There's your numbers. There's your info. All right. You've got this. You don't have to figure this out alone anymore. We are here for you, and so is our mastermind. All right, guys. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Bye.